Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to our final section of this book. We're going to be learning more about the Ascended Master Kuthumi, specifically a few of his more prominent incarnations before he became the Ascended Master Kuthumi. And this section is rather short, so we're going to wrap it up with just a nice, easy read. So we start out with a picture. It says that it's from 1884 of the Master Kuthumi, and this would be his last incarnation here on Earth. So that is what he looked like. All right, so we're going to start out with his most, I don't really think this goes in order. This is just going to go over, sorry, my ring is it's far too big for me, so it just moves around. I'm sure you've noticed. Okay, so this doesn't necessarily go in order. We're just going to go, I think it goes, I want to say it might even go in alphabetical order more than anything. So we're going to start out with his first life when he was Thutmose III, reigned circa 1503 to 1450 BC, pharaoh, prophet, and high priest in the period of the New Kingdom. Thutmose expanded the Egyptian kingdom to include most of the Middle East. His most decisive victory was on a battlefield near Mount Carmel. There he led the entire army single file through narrow Megiddo Pass to surprise and defeat an alliance of 330 rebellious Asian princes, a daring maneuver protested by the pharaoh's terrified officers. Thutmose alone was assured of his plan and rode ahead holding aloft the image of Amun-Ra, the sun god who had promised him the victory. Now his next life, he was known as Pythagoras, circa 582 to 507 BC. Greek philosopher, the fair-haired Samian, who was regarded as the son of Apollo. As a youth, Pythagoras conferred freely with priests and scholars, eagerly seeking scientific proof of the inner law revealed to him in meditation upon Demeter, the mother of the earth. His quest for the great synthesis of truth led him to Palestine, Arabia, India, and finally to the temples of Egypt, where he won the confidence of the priests of Memphis and was gradually accepted into the mysteries of Isis at Thebes. When Asian conqueror Cambyses launched a savage invasion of Egypt circa 529 BC, Pythagoras was exiled to Babylon, where the prophet Daniel still served as king's minister. Here, rabbis revealed to him the inner teachings of the I am that I am given to Moses. Zoroastrian magi tutored him in music, astronomy, and the sacred science of invocation. After 12 years, Pythagoras left Babylon and founded a brotherhood of initiates at Crotona, a busy Dorian seaport in southern Italy. His city of the elect was a mystery school of the Great White Brotherhood. At Crotona, carefully selected men and women pursued a philosophy based upon the mathematical expression of universal law, illustrated in music and in the rhythm and harmony of a highly disciplined way of life. After a 5-year probation of strict silence, Pythagorean mathematicians progressed through a series of initiations, developing the intuitive faculties of the heart, whereby the son or daughter of God may become, as Pythagoras's golden verse state, a deathless God, divine, mortal no more. Sorry, my video always picks up every stray strand. Pythagoras delivered his lectures from behind a screen in a veiled language that could be fully comprehended only by the most advanced initiates. The most significant phase of his instruction concerned the fundamental concept that number is both the form and the essence of creation. He formulated the essential parts of Euclid's geometry and advanced astronomical ideas that led to Copernicus's hypotheses. It is recorded that 2,000 citizens of Crotona gave up their customary lifestyle and assembled together in the Pythagorean community under the wise administration of the Council of 300, a governmental, scientific, and religious order that later exercised great political influence throughout Magna Graecia. Pythagoras, the indefatigable adept, was killed when Cylon, a rejected candidate of the mystery school, incited a violent persecution. Standing in the courtyard of Crotona, Cylon read aloud from a secret book of Pythagoras, the Hieros Logos, or Holy Word, distorting and ridiculing the teaching. When Pythagoras and 40 of the leading members of the order were assembled, Cylon set fire to the building, and all but 2 of the council members died. As a result, the community was destroyed and much of the original teachings was lost. Nevertheless, the master has influenced many great philosophers, including Plato, Aristotle, Augustine, Thomas Aquinas, and Francis Bacon. And interestingly enough, Ascended Master Saint Germain was Francis Bacon in one of his previous lives. So his next life, known as Balthazar. 1st century, one of the 3 magi who was the astronomer and an adept that followed the star or the I Am presence of the man-child born to the Virgin Mary. Believed to have been the king of Ethiopia, Balthazar brought the treasure of his realm, the gift of frankincense, to Christ. So he was one of the 3 wise men, and he brought frankincense, and he followed the Star of Bethlehem, which they refer to as the I Am presence. So very interesting. Saint Francis of Assisi, circa 1181 to 1226. The divine Poverello, who renounced family and wealth and embraced Lady Poverty. He lived among the poor and the lepers, finding unspeakable joy in imitating the compassion of Christ. While kneeling at Mass on the feast of St. Matthias in 1209, he heard the gospel of Jesus read by the priest and the Lord's command to his apostles, "Go preach." Francis left the little church and began evangelizing and converting many. Among them was the noble Lady Clare, who later left her home dressed as the bride of Christ and presented herself to Francis for admittance to the Mendicant order. One of the many legends surrounding the lives of Francis and Clare describes their meal at Santa Maria degli Angeli, where Francis spoke so lovingly of God that all were enraptured in him. Suddenly, the people of the village saw the convent and the woods ablaze. Running hastily to quench the flames, they beheld the little company enfolded in brilliant light with arms uplifted to heaven. God revealed to St. Francis the divine presence in brother sun and sister moon, and rewarded his devotion with the stigmata of Christ crucified. The prayer of St. Francis is yet spoken by people of all faiths throughout the world. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. If you know that one. If you're Catholic or Christian, you probably do, but it's also very well known. Now, this next one I absolutely love, and it was so surprising to see this. Emperor Mughal Shah Jahan, who is the one responsible for building the Taj Mahal for his beloved wife and childhood sweetheart, Mumtaz Mahal. Their story is such an enrapturing and captivating story that I have loved and been so drawn to for years. So I saw this and it immediately excited me. So from 1592 to 1666, Shah Jahan, Mughal Emperor of India, who overthrew the corrupt government of his father, Jahanangir, and restored in part the noble ethics of his grandfather, Akbar the Great. During his enlightened reign, the splendor of the Mughal court reached its zenith, and India entered her golden age of art and architecture. Shah Jahan lavished the imperial treasury on music, paintings, and the constructions of awesome monuments, mosques, public buildings, and thrones throughout India, some of which may still be seen today. The famous Taj Mahal, the miracle of miracles, the final wonder of the world, was built as a tomb for his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. She had ruled by his side almost as an equal and died in 1631, giving birth to their 14th child. Shah Jahan spared no effort in making the monument as beautiful as she was beautiful. It is the symbol of the mother principle and celebrates his eternal love for Mumtaz. Interestingly enough, he put India into debt building the Taj Mahal and was soon put into exile after that. And he had many wives and many women in his harem, but his number one love was Mumtaz, who was also his childhood sweetheart. He was promised to her from a very young age, but they also happened to love each other deeply. So I think there's just something so beautiful about that. And he really did rule a very prosperous and peaceful reign at a time before that when things were not like that. So his story just fascinates me. Now, his last life as Kuthumi Lal Singh, 19th century Kashmiri Brahmin, Shigats, Tibet, also called KH. In 1875, he founded with Almoria, who is also an Ascended Master, the Theosophical Society to reacquaint mankind with the ancient wisdom that underlies all the world's religions. And now let's talk a little bit about the Ascended Master Kuthumi. He serves with Jesus as world teacher, formerly a Chauhan of the second ray of divine illumination. Kuthumi is known as the master psychologist and a sponsor of youth. He is hierarch of the Etheric Temple of Illumination in Kashmir, India, also called the Cathedral of Nature, and head of the Brothers and Sisters of the Golden Robe. Kuthumi maintains his retreat in the heaven world of Shigats, Tibet, where he plays his grand organ, drawing the harmony of cosmos by the sacred fires of his heart. With this celestial music, he sends healing and peace throughout the planetary body to souls in transition, especially at the hour of death, and guides them to the etheric retreats of the Great White Brotherhood for tutoring in preparation for their next earthly life. He inspires architects, poets, and scientists with the mystical remembrance of their own soul's harmony in the celestial geometry and the rhythm of the stars. So I believe he probably lived many, many, many lives in order to become an Ascended Master, but these are his most notable lives that he lived, where he did some pretty amazing things. And I'm sure, as you saw, because he led an army, some things that we might today consider bad or good, if you killed people, if you were in war. So it just goes to show that we don't know who we've been in lives previous to the one that we are in right now. And we scorn and we judge and we look at people who we consider to be doing bad things or evil, forgetting that we don't know all that we've done in our other lives or what we're yet to do. And there's a reason for that. And I think it's because if we did know the things that we did, I'm not sure many of us could go on. We would simply hold too much guilt, too much anger, too much fear, too much self-loathing, all the things that we maybe do hold on to, but we don't realize it, but we would be very aware of it if we knew and remembered every part of who we were in our previous lives. So I really, really try to remember that when I'm looking at anything political, when I'm looking at anything in social media, when people are bashing or saying mean and hateful and angry things about people that they deem to be doing evil and bad things on this earth, I really try to look at it from that place. And it really does help me have more grace and more love for people that others would say that's absolutely crazy, but I just can't help it because I try to look at it from a different place and from a different point of view. So anyways, this wraps up our very enlightening and very rich, and as one of my subscribers said, it's such a rich book, and it really is. That is the best way to describe it. It's like a tapestry that needs to be unwoven, that needs to be taken in by the heart and the soul and then the mind, in order to truly understand it and to decide if this is a way that you want to walk, because walking your path in working with your aura and cleansing your aura and your chakras in this way is definitely something that you commit to if it's something that you feel called to do. And thankfully, because we have this information, if that's what you feel called to learn more about or to do, it is out there if that's something that you feel pulled to. So I will be introducing my next book very soon. I think I am going to read one of my Archangelology books, since we do have 3 more, but I'm not going to be reading them in succession. I will read one and then I will switch off and read something else, and then I'll read the next one, and then on until we finish them. But I will do a book in between just to break it up, because not everybody's necessarily interested in that. And I have so many different things that I can share with you guys, including a book that they mentioned the term the science of the spoken word in this book many times. I actually do have a book called The Science of the Spoken Word. I read it many years ago, and it is very fitting to this book, even though it is not written by Djwal Kul. It does come from a person that worked very closely with Saint Germain when she was here on Earth. So I may share that with you a little bit further down the line. It is a more involved book like this and will require more videos in shorter spaces in that video. So 1 or 2 chapters per video we would do again, but we'll do that a little bit further down the line. So thank you all very much for joining me. I really, really appreciate the support. And I know that you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you, but you ultimately do it for every single person on this planet. Anytime you do something for yourself, especially to grow and to learn and to develop your soul, you're never just helping yourself. You're always helping those immediately around you and the collective. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, for wanting to grow and wanting to learn more. That's what we're here to do. So anyways, thank you again so much for joining me. I love you all very much. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. I will see you again soon for our next book. Take care until then. Bye-bye.